Hey Paradise people, welcome back to the podcast from our radio show here at Bobo 89.1 FM. I'm Bella Rooney, your host, and today we are chatting with Samantha Hennings from EcoCay, a sustainable online real retailer with so many amazing and alternative products. Good morning, Sam.
Morning.
How you doing today?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit of a struggle getting here today, as we know. Might have gotten my calendar mixed up, but we're here and I'm excited.
We had a kerfuffle. Well, thank you so much for joining up to chat with us today. So Sam is a member, or I guess an employee, or I would just assume I'll call you a member of the EcoCay team, born and raised in Cayman.
Yes.
Yep. And passionate as heck about living sustainably. You actually spent time in Canada for uni, and you had your eyes open to what recycling a scheme actually looks like. I can relate. After I spent time with my parents' house, honestly, the recycling scheme in Canada is off the charts insane. I was like, Tetrix. Like, I was like, what the heck? So let's
7 different bins.
7 different bins, and my mom's like, that doesn't go there. And I'm like, oh my God, where does it go? So start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself with EcoCay.
So I was born and raised here. I went to Catholic when I was younger, and then I went away to boarding school, actually, also in Canada for a few years, which led me to going to university in Canada. But I also, my eyes were opened when much younger. When I was about 10, I had family living up there, and they were in Nova Scotia, which has the 7 bins, right? Literally 7 bins for recycling. And, it's just such a different mindset, I feel. Like when I was at university, everyone's just super conscious and super aware. It's part of everyday life. And it's just, run of the mill. Of course, we're going to recycle. Of course, we care about what's going into the environment. There's no questions about it. So it was just interesting being surrounded by that mentality. And I think I've always kind of been environmentally I love being outdoors and,
conscious,
conscious in the sense that I appreciate the environment and the beauty outside. And to me, when I went to Canada, it was very much like, oh yeah, why wouldn't everyone care about this? Why wouldn't we put these steps in place to make sure that we're preserving what we have? So from then, we came back. Cayman was then getting into recycling a little bit. So that was something that we were kind of early adopters of, for lack of a better word. My family is pretty good with it, led by me, but and sometimes the cling wrap is still hidden in the kitchen.
I mean, there's
drawers.
Baby steps, right?
Baby steps. But so then I got into the recycling here and just seeing what else there was to do. And I was quite vocal. I'm friendly with Jessica Harvey, who's obviously Guy Harvey, Ocean Foundation. And she knew my passion from it. We went to boarding school together in Canada as well. So she was aware of my passion for it. And she introduced me to Kenza.
Great.
So Kenza was thinking of leaving Ireland. She's now actually overseas, which is why she can't join us today. And Jessica said she has EcoCay, and she's looking for her next step in the EcoCay world, whether she doesn't know what it looks like, but maybe have a talk with her, have a discussion with her. So Kent and I met up just for dinner, and that turned into co-ownership of EcoCay.
Oh, so you're a co-owner.
So I'm a co-owner.
Amazing.
Exactly. So she was the founder, like you said, in 2019. And then I came on board last year, at the end of last year, as a co-owner and kind of to run the operations on the ground and see what it looks like.
Oh, that's so cool. So I guess the next thing to do is to kind of tell people exactly what EcoCay is. I've been asking around in preparation to see kind of who knows what. And some people go, oh yeah, I've mentioned it. Oh yeah, I've heard this mentioned here. Oh, I kind of know. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just get this down. So you guys are relatively new. Like you said, only started in 2019 by Kenza Nucky? Or Kanucky? Nucky, okay. So tell us a bit more about the company and why was it founded?
So the company was founded because Kenza is from the UK, and she is very passionate about all things sustainable and about all things environment. So obviously moving here, she actually moved here in 2019, and I believe the incorporation was actually done for EcoCay in 2020.
2020.
Yeah. So 2019, she moved here, or thereabouts, and she was like, this place has so much plastic and, no one cares about anything. Plastic bags everywhere. Like there's barely anything to assist people should they wish to avoid plastic specifically. So EcoCay was started kind of as a plastic-free shop. That is the mantra, is that all products sold at EcoCay are plastic-free. And that was really it. She literally saw Mount Trashmore and saw that no one was really recycling and that everything was wrapped in plastic, and was like, there has to be an alternative. And coming from the UK, obviously, they're similar to Canada.
Everywhere.
Yeah. There are so many options, right? Refill stores, you know, plastic-free stores, just general groceries
Non-waste.
and things like that.
Yeah.
You're so much more conscious of the waste. So that was her. She was just fueled by, I think she wanted those products.
Exactly.
Right? She's like, I'm used to these products at home. How do we get them here?
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys have a massive range of products. So what kind of products do you offer?
So what I like to say is we are everyday essentials, but plastic-free and sustainable. So think of things that you use every single day. The easiest thing that comes to mind for me, and I feel like is the easiest kind of switch for people, is a toothbrush, for example.
Yep.
A toothbrush doesn't need to be plastic. It's an everyday essential. You use it multiple times a day. It is disposable, and you have to, you know, go through so many toothbrushes in a year.
Exactly.
And why not choose a plastic-free alternative? Something that is used that frequently and disposed of so frequently as well. Why not choose a plastic-free alternative? So it's really everyday essentials.
Cool.
But plastic-free and sustainable. So that's beauty products, right? There's makeup, there's makeup brushes, that there's skincare, you know, we use Upcircle is the line, and it's beautiful.
I have some at home. It's so good.
It's so good. And they all have their own kind of mantras as well. So Upcircle is from recycled food, or food that, you know, is disposed. So coffee grounds there's nothing else, no other use for it. So they take it and they put it back into their products, for example. And so there's kind of a circular economy within those products as well. And then we have your typical kitchen products. We have cleaning products, which I love. So plastic free. I love the cleaning products because they're plastic free and you're not buying water. So with typical cleaning products, they come into plastic bottles, and really it's a solution but diluted with water. The spray is mostly water. So the cleaning products that we have are plastic free. They're really just like tiny refills that you put into a spray can of water. Wow. And it dilutes, and then that is your cleaning spray, whether it be for glass or floors or whatever cleaning you need, toilets. That's what we have.
In a reusable spray bottle.
In a reusable spray bottle, exactly. So instead of going and buying a plastic spray bottle every month, every 2 months from the grocery store, you keep that spray bottle and then you refill it with the cleaning product.
So much more cost effective, really.
It's also more cost effective.
Why wouldn't you? It seems like a really nice, easy switch.
Exactly. So, and all of our products, so those are kind of the everyday things. There's bathroom products as well, Q-tips and soaps, plastic-free soaps. We're trying to they're always looking into options, and that's why there are so many on our site.
It's great. No, it's great. Yeah. Great options.
Yeah. So looking into kind of how we do body washes in a similar sense of how we do the cleaning products, but there's also bar soaps. And I think part of the mantra just kind of expands and lends itself to the sustainability side, which is supporting local as well, right? So we like to support local vendors who make plastic-free products or have refill programs.
Right.
So that's how it kind of expands. But really at the core of what we do is everyday essentials that are plastic-free and sustainable.
That's cool. And you mentioned a word in there. You said circular economy. So I read your website, and you guys also, you said conscious consumption cycle. So where do you guys source your products? You have so many products. So how do you source it? And what is the conscious consumption cycle that you're referring to? Just for people who might not actually know what that is.
So the conscious consumption cycle is thinking of the end of life of a product.
Okay.
That's the long and short of it. That's similar to the terminology for circular economy. It's when you buy a product, you need to think about what's going to happen with the product at the end of its life. So, for example, you buy a plastic toothbrush. What's going to happen to the You're going to use it for a month, maybe 2, maybe 6 if you're like me and you're bad.
No, I'm just bad. I'm bad.
And then what happens to that plastic? It's not normally recyclable. So it stays around for 400 years.
Or more.
Yeah. And you've used this product for 1 month. So the conscious consumer cycle is, okay, I'm going to use a product. How long am I using this product for? It's kind of a balancing act as well. How long am I using this product for? And what happens to it at the end? Is it going to go away, or is it going to last forever? Right? And that's, I feel, kind of the same thing as a circular economy, which is thinking of the end of the life of the product and whether it can be used again. Maybe it will be around for 400 years, but can it be used again over and over again? How many times can it be used? Things like that. That's kind of what a circular economy is, and what Upcircle, the skincare brand, is thinking of. They're like, okay, a coffee bean comes out and it's ground and we throw it away. That's food waste. But can it be used again to give it another life? And we should be thinking about all of our products in that context.
So do you decide where you source your products, like the different companies, based on that?
Yeah, so I think we decide based on the mantra. So this is Ken's department. She's in orders and kind of purchases, but most of our products come from the UK.
Oh, okay.
And that's because of the greenwashing that we find.
We're going to get onto that.
Exactly, that we find in other places. I think it's a little bit closer to home for her as well, and she's been using these products for years. But we look at our suppliers and we actually get into, we'll have conversations with them to say, where are you supplying it from? What packaging does it come in?
Of course.
Because that's the other thing. I don't want to be selling sustainable and plastic-free products that come wrapped in plastic.
Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
It defeats the purpose, exactly. And so you just kind of look at the overall kind of mantra of your suppliers to see if it's in line with our ethos, and open those conversations and have those real conversations. If you suspect otherwise, let's say, to say, tell me more about this process, or tell me more about what you do in this sustainable world.
That's super cool. So, and that's the other thing, is shipping, because if they're coming from the UK, so almost everything on our island is pretty much shipped in. But your website says that you offset your carbon emissions by planting trees, which is super cool. So how do you manage this? How do you plant these trees?
So that's a good question. We are hoping this year, we see that there's Cayman Tree Planting Initiative.
Yeah, right?
That's
cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cool. So we're hoping this year maybe to partner with them to plant the trees. But normally what we would do is I can't remember the name of the website now, but
I can link it.
Yeah, we'll look it up later. But we use the website, and you can choose places in the world where they'll go. That's not for profit. Will go and they'll plant trees.
Cool.
So normally we'll base it on what's been happening in the world and where needs it the most. So for example, a couple of years ago, the California fires and the fires all over the world, or in Australia as well, the fires. We would say, okay, they need the forests there need replenishing. Let's plant our trees there, and it's 1 tree per order. Essentially, is what we base it on. So
That's
every
cool.
order that we get, we offset it with a tree planted.
That's cool. So is that it's a part of the money from that order goes towards it, or is it included in your order?
Yeah, it's kind of included in it.
Okay.
It's kind of part of the money, I suppose you could call it, but we just use it from our profits.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was just wondering how that worked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to work with Cayman here, because shipping, we're never going to get away from it.
We're never going to get away from it.
Until more people here start doing it themselves.
Exactly. But even so, so that's kind of why we like to support local as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, it's supporting the local economy, first of all, easy. And secondly, the stuff's already here. They're making it. And if it's in line with our mantra, and if it's promoting also, a more sustainable way to look at your products and package your products, that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the whole community involved. So because of the shipping, supporting local is kind of the nicest and the easiest thing to do.
Right?
If you can, exactly.
Yeah,
Again,
awesome.
it's already being shipped on island by someone else. So
exactly.
We might as well just leverage off of that and not include more.
Cool. So let's go back to greenwashing. how do you see through greenwashing, like you mentioned with some companies, and know that the products are actually better alternatives? So for people who might not know, greenwashing is when advertisers claim their products or actions are environmentally friendly and less damaging than they actually are. So for example, many of the plastic forks and cups that we use, that you see around that say compostable or green and stuff like that, those are supposed to be better alternatives that you see at restaurants and deli bars. How can people look for these signs? How do you look, and how can people look for these greenwashing signs?
So I think it is looking at the kind of ingredients, for lack of a better word, and seeing what it's really made up of. Because it's really easy for someone to put a label on anything, similar to with meats and stuff.
Organic.
Correct.
Right?
That's exactly it, right? You can put a label. Marketing is marketing. You can put a label, a big shiny label, and anyone can see it, and it's really easy for the consumer to be like, cool, it says it.
Problem solved.
It says green. Or, some products are named green. Have green in the name, or like a leaf on the packaging.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you. So it's actually taking the time to say, okay, this is what they're saying they are. Let's look into this and look into the ingredients and what it's actually made up of, to see whether or not it's the real deal. But you can also, again, it's easier from a supplier point of view to go and look at their whole website and comments and, reviews and things like that to see what they're actually about. But I would say first and foremost, like if you're looking at something in a store and it has a leaf on it, or, organic or green, turn it around and look at what is it actually made up of.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's easy to get swept up in it, for sure.
Exactly. And it's easy to say that as well, because obviously, similar to, again, with food, I think is the easiest thing we all know. Sometimes the label won't say sugar. Like you're looking for something without sugar. The label isn't going to say sugar.
Yeah,
it's going to say cornstarch or, whatever other variation. So, of course, it gets a little bit difficult, but that's where to start.
And there's pretty good websites now that have pretty good layouts of items that they've already done research on. And if you look it up, if you find a site that you like and you type in a product, it usually gives you a rating, and like a good environmental rating. So I will pop some of those websites in the notes for this episode in case people are interested. So once it gets onto our island, once you go through a whole process of all of that, how do you distribute it around? That's not my second question.
So we are an online shop.
Yeah.
So delivery is really me.
Is it?
And yes, you're looking at your delivery girl.
Yay!
So we deliver it around, and it's funny because we're quite into electric vehicles. So
great.
We're doing it the green way.
That's great. No, that's great.
With electric vehicles sometimes, but I do have a regular car as well, and I do use that. But it's me delivering on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Cool.
Are our delivery days. Right now we don't have a storefront, but we do pop-ups.
Yes, great pop-ups.
Yeah, and really it's consumer to consumer right now. So it's a retail business. Go on to EcoCay.com and you can purchase whichever products you would like, but also work with corporates and, like rental places and other businesses to see what their needs are. And you saw the range of products. So to work with them to see what they want. Yeah,
that is cool. Actually, thinking about rentals, you could go in there and say somebody, they're looking for a tiny product, tiny shampoos and stuff like that. That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Oh, cool. Okay, so in terms of pricing, environmentally friendly products tend to be more slightly expensive, on the expensive side. I've always just noticed that. And sometimes you're like, oh, it's a necessary evil. I'm just going to do it. So why do you think it's worth the extra few dollars? And do you think there'll be a day when these products are actually just normal for everything?
I'm hoping there's a day. I don't, EcoCay is great and it's our passion, but I wish that it was mainstream, right? Instead of it being like, this is a sustainable shop that you need to get to or you go to and that's where you find the sustainable products. The dream is that it's mainstream, right? And that these things are produced in mass and they can be distributed on a, kind of global scale. But I think they're a little bit more expensive because it expands so much. So yes, you want to do a sustainable product, and normally procuring those is more expensive, right?
Right.
It's not, plastic is cheap.
That's exactly, that's why they use it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plastic is so cheap. It's light, it's cheap, and it's durable. So it's easy to scale up, and it's easy to, because of economies of scale, it's super cheap. Whereas the ingredients that are used to make the products that are sustainable are a little bit harder to procure. Normally, if you're a sustainable shop, you're also trying to do it an ethical way.
Well,
I would say
that's the other half of it, isn't it?
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
So your supply chain is actually more expensive because, like, very basic economics, labor is more expensive.
Exactly.
Right?
People aren't getting mistreated, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So normally it expands. Like when you're being sustainable, you're like, okay, well, I also have to be ethical.
Right.
And therefore it's more expensive for me to pay. So I think all of those things contribute to why it's a little bit more expensive. And right now it just doesn't have the scale because it's not as cheap. It's not as, it's heavier. So shipping is more expensive, for example, as well. And I just think it's a little less durable. So you need, as in, like, if it's package free, if it doesn't come wrapped in plastic, what if during shipping water gets, like, it rains and water gets spilled and the product gets ruined? So I think there's just a few contingencies that make it a little bit more expensive now. But hopefully the end product is a little bit more durable, right?
Yeah.
You can use it more than once.
Yeah. Longer.
And so you think about the long term, it's kind of more of an investment.
Exactly. That's how I see it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more of an investment than than fast fashion, which is a whole other thing. But it's not it's not a quick and dirty. It's I'm keeping this for the long run, and I'm doing this to hopefully, reuse some or a part of it.
Yeah.
At some point.
I think that's exactly the way to think about making, when you think of products, like that's exactly how you think about it. It's an investment in your health and your future.
And I think the more that we invest in it and the more that that it catches on and people start using it, again, economies of scale. More people using it, okay, more products can be produced and hopefully at a cheaper, more streamlined process. But that's my take on the supply chain. Obviously, we don't manufacture these things, but that's my analysis because I'm the same as you. I mean, as everyone else, this is kind of expensive sometimes, certain products, even from our suppliers, I'm like, this is kind of expensive, but it's an investment. And I think that's the hard part about getting so many people to buy into it because it's education, right? You have to say, this is the reason. This is what circular economy is, and this is the reason, and people got to buy into that mindset. And then not only are you getting them to buy into the mindset, then it's like, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it's an investment for the future, and if we all do it now, then it'll be cheaper in the future.
Well, exactly. And I agree. That's how I feel as well. We're on the same wavelength here. So when we talk about the products, one thing I've actually always wondered, something even one of our listeners asked me recently, is the personal hygiene alternatives, like your toothpaste tabs and your shampoo bars, are they as effective as the generic brands?
And that's the hard part as well. So the shampoo bars, I think they are. Yeah. They are definitely as effective. The thing with these products as well is that you would normally get into it's more natural.
It is.
Right. So there's not as many
perfumes.
Yeah, perfumes and preservatives isn't the word, but
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Included in the products off the shelf for longevity, whereas these are a little bit more natural. So it takes an adjustment. I don't think they're less effective. I think it takes an adjustment. So for example, I mean, I am on my own plastic-free and sustainable journey through EcoCay, right? I've always been in this mindset, but I'm going through all of our products slowly, and so I'm on my own journey. I've actually thought about sharing that, like in terms of maybe sharing my journey. I think that would be a great thing.
Great thing. Definitely do that.
But one of the things is recently I've switched to our shampoo. I did the shampoo bars, but with my long curly hair.
See, that's what I'm,
Yeah, this is a real part of it, right? So it's like, it's what works for you. The shampoo bars are a little bit more admin when you have long curly hair. I feel like, it just takes a little bit more effort.
Yeah.
But we also have liquid shampoo as well that comes in glass bottles, for example, instead of plastic bottles, and there's options to refill and things. And those are more natural. So I've recently switched to them, and I've found that I just need to wash my hair more than I did before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like maybe I was doing it every 3 to 4 days before, whereas now it's like maybe every other day is natural. But it's all part of the journey. I think they're not less effective. The conditioner still works beautifully. Like, again, long curly hair, not a problem. But it's just seeing what works for you. It's like anything else in life where you're switching products. Anytime you're switching anything, right? Any type of product, you have to figure out if that product is right for you and how it works for you.
Well, it's very individual, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very individual.
Yeah.
But I think they are, the tooth tabs are another one actually that
I tried those.
They're different.
Really weird.
That's exactly it. So again, it's like, it could have its purpose as well. Like, you know, if you're going on a trip and you only have hand luggage.
Exactly.
You can use the tooth tabs. That's what a customer recently bought them for. But they're different. Like, you have to get used to it. It's different.
Yeah.
It's even any natural toothpaste that we have are not sweetened like what they are like what they are from the stores. So it's a bit of an adjustment because normally you get kind of plastic free and sustainable with a more natural feel.
Exactly.
That kind of goes hand in hand.
No, if you're willing to do it, it's there are options everywhere for every product you could think of, really.
Exactly.
So grocery stores are actually starting to get a bit more sustainable too.
Yes.
And that was my question. So, you know, whenever I go into Kirk's, they have bamboo toothbrushes, they have bamboo floss. But I guess my question is, are they equatable to your products? Or would you say that those are, like, so say if somebody needed it for Thursday and you had just delivered Wednesday, would it be just as good for them to go in? Or is that greenwashing in there too from what you've seen?
I think it's, from what I see, it's a bit of greenwashing. Like, for example, the bamboo toothbrushes are wrapped in plastic, right?
Well, they are.
Right. So it's good and it's a step, and that's definitely great. But those are the kind of mass-produced products that are still catering to the durability. Plastic, again, it's not going to get ruined in shipping.
Yeah, well,
you know, things like that. So I think it's a step, right?
It's
not a plastic toothbrush that's going to last forever. But I think there is probably there's a bigger step that can be taken.
There's room for improvement.
There is room for improvement. That's exactly it.
Okay, cool.
But I think that's a good point. Everyone's journey is different, and it's not about perfection. Like, I don't expect everyone to, because I haven't done it myself.
Yeah, me
neither. Especially in Cayman, it's really difficult to get away from plastic and just be fully sustainable. So there's no perfect answer. Of course, your journey might look like a bamboo toothbrush in a plastic wrapping for now. And that's completely fine, you know. Again, it's what product works for you. And it's also about putting leverage on those bigger companies that are already scaled up and do mass produce. It's putting reviews and putting a little bit of pressure on them to do the right thing and go the full way of sustainability. You're halfway there. Just change your packaging a little bit and we'll be there. But it's going back to those actual suppliers and saying, you know, I think that's something that the Kirks and the bigger places can do, is go back to the suppliers, similar to what we do when we're procuring our products. We go to the suppliers and say, please make sure this is not sent in plastic. Like, please confirm that there's no plastic around this product. And that's leverage that the bigger companies in general worldwide can apply to their suppliers and their supply chain. Cool.
No, cool. That's good to know. So you can go in there, you can get it. It's still a step in the right direction, and then it's up to us to keep applying further pressure to it.
Exactly.
Awesome. So how has the reaction been since you guys have opened about 3 or 2-ish years ago? Have you seen any changes in the community? Have you grown or anything?
We've grown a little bit. We both, so Ken's was an auditor and I also was an auditor. So we both, and I still work a full-time job. So this is our
busy bee. Okay.
Yeah. So this is like my passion project. And it has grown a little bit. What we're trying to do is get in people's on people's radar rather a little bit more, and help our customers remember us. It's a bit hard when you don't have a storefront. So,
well, that's
right. So we're only online, and of course, even me, I get lazy sometimes to go online. This is really terrible. How can you say that you're lazy to go online when it's literally on your phone? On your phone. But sometimes you're like, oh, don't remember, or whatever it is.
Putting
too much
the payment
admin
details. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
exactly. Right. So what we have started now is a subscription service. Cool. So for the everyday essentials, such as, you know, a dishwashing brush or dishwashing sponges or toothbrushes or your cleaning products or your deodorants, or you name it.
Everything.
Exactly. Almost everything. we have a subscribe and save payment, or not payments, rather
system-y type thing.
Yes.
Cool.
So subscribe and save, and what that is you can sign up for a subscription for the product. So you choose your product. Let's call it a floor cleaner. And there's options for every 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks. That's the frequencies that you can choose. And on those frequencies, we will reach out to you and say, hey, it's time, your product's probably running low. It's time for a refill or a top up. And so we'll reach out to you, deliver kind of on that frequency that you've chosen, and you save 5%. So it keeps the orders coming. You don't have to think about it anymore. A little bit of admin off your plate, and your products are delivered to your door.
That's awesome. So in terms of actually your storefront, what are your plans, your future plans for EcoCay? Do you ever want a storefront, or is it better to be having a space, I don't know, where you even keep your products? Do you have a separate...
My closet.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
At home, we have a kind of storage room at home.
Cool,
and that's where we keep it, just on prom right now. It's so expensive at the moment. For anything, right?
Yep.
Finding rental space, commercial rental space that's affordable is so far and few between. I think it's a dream to get a storefront one day.
It is? Okay, yeah.
Because I think it would be nice. I mean, we'll have to look at our options, but I think a storefront is where we would ultimately love to go. But really it's whatever works best for our customers. And I do think the delivery option is really, really nice. That's what I like about our setup now. Although it's online, and it does make it a little bit harder, I think, for new customers. Because if you're a new customer, again, what we were talking about earlier, you're learning about this whole sustainability movement, and it's a lot of products that aren't mainstream, right? It's completely new products, because it isn't the mainstream brands that are necessarily putting out these very sustainable products. It's hard for people to buy online, and because they don't know what they're getting. Right. Whereas a storefront would help with that. But I think the nice thing about being an online store is that we are kind of flexible, and we can deliver at any time. It gets delivered to your door. I think that's the step that's missing with a lot of brick and mortar, because it's one or the other, sort of. You only have limited resources.
Exactly. Well, there's only one of you. Right?
Exactly. There's only one of me at the moment. So I really like the delivery model that we have right now, because I think it's convenient for you as the consumer as well. But hopefully one day we'll have a storefront. We'll see.
That's
TBD.
Awesome. So, okay, you mentioned a refillery. What do you think about having a refillery on island? Because I have thought about starting a refillery, but I looked at it and I was like, that's a lot. Is that something maybe you think you would expand into one day?
I would love it. I think that would naturally flow with a storefront.
It would, right? Yeah. And for anything, dry goods, your pasta, your rice, your beans, everything like that. Because they have so many in the UK, and they're wonderful. If you've been to the UK and you live in the UK, you know that the sustainable zero waste stores are amazing, and we just don't have that here.
Exactly. And I think that's absolutely... the way to go. It would be great if we could get one here. So,
what is your biggest reason that you would maybe encourage someone to start making these switches? That is, just as we kind of wrap up here, I kind of want to know what your biggest reason somebody should start making switches is.
I think I find this question difficult because it's really a mindset change, and I think the biggest reason is literally for our future.
Yep.
Right?
Which seems daunting when you say it like that sometimes.
Exactly. It's not necessarily for us, but for future generations. And it doesn't seem logical for me. And I guess I'm kind of a numbers person. It doesn't seem logical for me that I use something for 30 days, or not even a plastic bottle. I use it for 1 hour. I finish my drink, and the product that comes in lasts for years, maybe beyond my lifespan. That math just doesn't add up to me. 1 hour for hundreds of thousands of millions of hours in the future that this product is around. So I think I think in Cayman it's quite important as well. Our environment is one of the main things that sets us apart from the rest of the world, and big cities, and tourism is obviously one of our biggest kind of industries. And who wants to come out to a beach or you know, go exploring in Cayman and see garbage and litter everywhere. When if people really thought about what they were doing at the beginning of the product life cycle, so when they are going to buy a product and where that's going to end up and what the actual ramifications are, again, like you say, it's kind of daunting to think about.
Yep.
But that's kind of the reason why I don't really have
Just take it and go for it anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't really have a reason kind of less philosophical than that.
Exactly. Because it's not cut and dry. It's complicated.
It's not cut and dry. But my other thing is, why not? You know, why not choose something, even if you don't necessarily believe? Sometimes I feel like I come across as a tree hugger. I was recently, sidebar, I was in the States last month, and I'm with my mum, who she's the one who hides the cling sometimes, but she's very good with most of the stuff. But some stuff, like for a tooth tab, for example, she'd be like, Samantha, no, this doesn't work. you know? Right. And the same with the beeswax wraps. I love them, and I think they work really well. But she's like, no, cling just keeps everything in better. I'm like, okay. But she's good. She'll jump on board and try everything. But we're in the States, and obviously everything is plastic.
Everything. Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
so at every turn, I'm literally like, nope, don't put that in a plastic bag. Like, nope, I don't want a straw. And they'll put a straw down, and I'll be like, nope, please take that straw back. You know? And after like one day of this, I was like, I am a tree hugger. Like, I can't even stand myself right now. How many things have I turned away?
Listen to me.
I'm ridiculous. And she just laughed. She was like, this is how you live. But normally it's not that prevalent. Like, it is kind of. I am doing that quite a bit here. But it's just thinking about the ramifications of these things. And
once you start thinking about it, you see it everywhere too.
Exactly.
It's quite incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. Okay, so what is the favorite product that you sell? What is your favorite product to sell? Personally, yeah.
I really like the deodorant.
No, cool, because sometimes people have a hard time switching. Yeah.
It's natural and it's in like a glass thing. Natural deodorants did not work for me.
Yeah.
I'm a very sporty person, let's put it that way.
Me too. No, yeah.
And
Sweaty Betty.
Sweaty Betty, that is me, absolutely. And, you know, I have a loving family that I said would try everything, but will also tell me when things are real. So with the previous deodorants, they'd be like my fiance was like, Stinky Stam is out. Like,
oh no. So it's like, that doesn't work. Okay.
Right. Whereas we have this deodorant at EcoCay that works like a charm. It's so good.
Cool.
It's a natural deodorant in all sorts of flavors. It's from Natural Deo Co.
Ooh, I'm gonna get some.
It's really, really good, and it actually works. And there's an active version as well. So like, just to make sure that everything's going to be okay. So that's my favorite product. But I really enjoy the cleaning products as well. I think they're great. Like you said, value for your money. I think they're $3, and they're just refills. You plop it in some water, and you have the spray bottle there. And the Upcircle products are really nice as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how can people find you guys? How can people get in touch? What are your socials so that people can find you?
So we're on Instagram first and foremost. EcoCay.ky is our handle. www.ecokay.com is our shop where you can find all of our things, and you can also contact us. And we're also on Facebook if you look up EcoCay. So those are the main things. And then you'll see us at pop-up shops. So we have quite a few coming up for the Christmas season.
Yeah.
We know we're going to be at St. Ignatius Christmas Fair.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the date is. I'll get you that date.
Perfect.
And there's a few other ones. I know Seafire normally has one. We're normally there as well.
Yeah.
So a few pop-up shops over the Christmas season. And we have some fun stuff as well. I mean, this is why it expands so much. So yes, we have our everyday essentials, but we also have some cool and fun kind of gifts. So instead of disposable gift wrapping, we have bags.
Like wrapping
bags.
options.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
Alternative wrapping options that are reusable, essentially.
Oh, I love that.
And some gifty items as well, such as bowl covers we've gotten for the people who can't stand the beeswax wraps like my mother. So there's some fun stuff in there that we do around the holiday season as well. So
awesome.
You can go and check it out on our website.
Yeah, I'm going to put all the details down below and in the descriptions of everything here. And thank you so much for coming in, Sam. This this was actually a great chat. I've learned so much about you guys, and I'm going to drop some money, I think, soon, which is, oh, goodness me. But I'm going to start making the switches, I think, to the cleaning products, because that's what I've been trying to get into. Yeah. So thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Bella. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you so much again to DMS Broadcasting and Bobo 89.1, and to our silent sponsors, and my pal Ryan Kirkaldy at Retrospekt Media for capturing all this. You can check out our filmed episodes over on YouTube, and you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Protecting Paradise KY. And remember, you cannot care unless you know. So thanks for joining us today. And remember, we're always open to your opinion and topic suggestions, so don't be shy. We'll see you next week. Toodles!